towers. We have better logistics, better talent in all aspects of the business. Those components really help the business to build on the better service quality for us.
Now, according to reports, the Netcom average download speed is 12.19 megabits per second. Can these figures be increased over time?
Definitely. In fact, that's the average across customers who subscribe to a lower quantity of bandwidth and also customers who subscribe to a higher quantity of bandwidth. The main enabler for that is fiber optic networks. So we bring fiber optic networks as close to the end customer as possible, and when that happens, the bandwidth also increases. So for example, a lot of our customers, we have 100 megabits or even 1,000 megabits up to the doorstep. And these customers will then choose on whether how much bandwidth they need, whether they want 20 megabits, 5 megabits, 2 megabits, or even 100 megabits.
Data is said to be expensive. Are there efforts to provide quality service for less?
Everything is always expensive, but it has to be put into perspective. For example, the cost of internet when it's delivered to an end user, and our end users are enterprises and companies, it consists of several factors, several components. The first component is international bandwidth. How much does it cost per megabit to get the bandwidth from USA or UK down to Nigeria? Let's call that X, for example. And then once it lands on the shores of Nigeria, we need to bring that bandwidth into our data center. That's going to have another component, Y. Once it gets to our data center, we have to transport that connection to another city, such as Abuja. In Nigeria, we find that the cost of taking capacity from the coast to inland, which may be only a few thousand kilometers, is actually more expensive than it does to take the capacity from London to Nigeria, which is just over 8,000 kilometers. So almost by a factor of 8 in terms of distance, data per distance, it's more expensive. And that's what constitutes the cost.
Are there efforts to raise the bandwidth to a higher upgrade so as to cover a larger geographical area?
Definitely. We're always expanding. Every month we grow our capacity, and it's not a fixed amount of capacity that we have. It depends on how much our subscribers are actually provisioned for us.
How viable is the ICT industry in Nigeria?
I strongly believe the ICT industry is very, very viable. We've actually transitioned our business from being a communications provider, providing internet links and fiber optic links, into adding an additional service which we call managed services to provide value-added services to enterprises and businesses to assist them managing their IT resource. We look at our service as being a benefit to our customers. We don't sell bandwidth. Although we do sell bandwidth, what we sell is productivity. We sell efficiency. We help customers and our companies perform better in business. And if they can't perform better in business because of our connectivity and our services, then we have not succeeded. So our goal is always looking at the benefit of what our customers gain at the end of the day.
Still on the cost, are there bundles for lesser income earners on this subscription?
We don't serve consumers or residential users, but the way it works is it's kind of like a flowing process. So you have the big bandwidth coming from international that comes into the cities. From the cities, it spreads out into other major cities. From those cities, it then spreads out to cell phone towers, to mobile operators, who then transfer that data over to the end user. From what I've seen and experienced, the price of bandwidth for internet on a per gigabyte basis has drastically reduced over the last 5 years in Nigeria. So this is something that the trend is happening. It's going to continue to reduce. And we look forward to that because the adoption of end user capacity and use of the internet is what grows the market.
As an IT consulting company and also an internet providing service company, what challenges do you face in the industry?
I would say yes, there are. I mean, there's no business without challenges. One of the major challenges that we have here is electricity and power. Power and electricity accounts for a lot of our costs. It accounts for a lot of our costs for some of our suppliers, for our partners, and it's very expensive to do business. So as a result, those costs get trickled down into the consumer end user price. So if issues like power can be solved, and the cost of power generation is decreased, that is a major cost component in the end user price.
Aside power, are there other challenges you face in the industry?
Another challenge we would have is talent. So we're a high-tech company. Well, we depend on high-tech knowledge and very smart knowledge workers to propel us forward. In the early years when Netcom Africa first set up, we had quite a big challenge in hiring skill. I've noticed that in the last few years, because of the industry growing, we're having a lot more qualified personnel applying to our company and really helping us grow. So I think that issue is being diminished gradually.
Yeah, and Troy from Netcom giving some perspective on the internet services in Nigeria. And that's where we leave it from the closing.